My craftastic pals, it's Sharon Luska here from My Crafty Greetings. As you see, I'm munching some ice cream while I work, and I'm going to be working with some pink and Maine products today, and we are on the hop with Team Tiny Case, the fellow Team Tiny creator. And I am casing Tasha D, Natasha, our great friend from over the pond in the UK. Anyways, she had done a project that she had learned in Altenew Academy, and it was something where you color on vellum and put that over top of a patterned background, and I absolutely loved it. I saw that and I was just so excited and thought, that is for me. So the first thing that we're going to start off doing is we are going to swink ourselves a little bit of a background here. I want a hint of earth and a hint of sky, and I'm going to do a little bit of blending here, and I'm going to wipe my brush off on my cloth just to make sure that I don't overdo it, because I'm trying to do a light hand, haha. So I don't know, I need to work on that skill a little bit. But anyways, I don't know if you all know, but Tasha has actually gone through and she is working on her educator certification with Altanew. I didn't even know that that was a program, but I am so impressed that she's working on that. And she's got a number of really great videos out where she basically, I would say, gives us a sneak peek of what it is that they're teaching in those courses through what it is that she's learned. I really like that. It's almost like free learning, friends. Like, seriously, you got to check her out. And I guess the other woot woot that I have to say for Tasha is she just recently got a guest spot with Wow Embossing, and you have to check that video out too. It was just incredible. Absolutely love, love, love her work. This is a new, she's a new YouTuber, and this girl's on the rise, man. She's just rocketing up. Okay, so back to the project quickly here. You can see that the whole point is to lay the vellum over top of the background that you've chosen to make, and then to use your Copics to do a no-line coloring. Now, the big difference between my project and Tasha's is obviously mine's a completely different image, but I ended up using gloss embossing powder. She used matte, and these poor old eyes, there was not a hope in you-know-what that I was going to be able to see that. I'm impressed that she did it so well. But so I decided to go with the gloss, and I am totally over the idea that embossing is going to ruin my Copics. I'm gently creeping up to those lines, but trying not to actually go scrubbing on them with my nibs here. But I'm filling it in. Now, the other thing too is when I went back and reviewed her video after I'd done my work, and I don't know, I'm thick in the head or something, because I had to watch her video like at least 10-15 times, and I still put way more Copic on top of my project than she put on hers. But as she said, you do what you have to do to make your project what you want. Don't give up on it. Keep at it, because 9 times out of 10, once it's done its ugly stage, it's going to be beautiful. And if it's not beautiful, there's always the trash. But luckily for me, this one ended up being pretty good. So anyways, I wanted to make sure too that I used a really, really light hand in this portion here where the liquid is, the hummingbird juice, if you will, so that it had that kind of see-through liquidy kind of look. And so I tried not to overwork this part, but you know, the pink I felt really gave the hint of the fact that it was actually bird juice. So now, in order to make sure that I got a really, really thin layer of color for the glass itself, I'm using a Fantastics and using some Distress ink. And this is a by accident discovery. I had held my project over top of my too wet background, and it got on the vellum, and when I wiped it, it left the tiniest hint of a blue schmear. So I thought, you know what, that's actually kind of useful. because if you want a really uniform, smooth finish where there's no texture and no strokes to it, staining the paper with the distress ink is the absolute best way to do it. So one of the things too that I noticed about this is that I really liked how the Copics kind of looked like watercolor on top of this vellum. So there may be a whole other project in the works here. But in order to smooth it out a tiny bit, I did use some of my pencil crayons here. Now I'm also using my E000 with a million zeros, which is the absolutely clear blender pen, I guess. And I'm just lifting up the color from the little dots of bubbles. And I also decided too that the highlight edges, which would be where that actual glossy embossing powder is, I cleaned those off too so that there would be like a little glint of clear so that it made it look nice and plasticky. So as I start coloring in this beautiful little bird, and I'm just gonna say quick too, I'm using some Bics for the really pointy parts because I sometimes need a really fine firm end. And I did test all my colors on the vellums to see what they would look like too before I use them. That's a good idea as well. So Tosh and I ended up having a little chat on Messenger, and I found a few things out about her. Besides the fact that she lives in the UK, she is a big fan of The Office. Not The Office UK, The Office USA. And she's also a big fan of Shameless, which I'm a total big fan of Shameless too. Love it, but she's watched Shameless, the UK version. So I'm gonna have to get cracking and take a look at that version again. We had started watching it and never finished. She's a mom of two beautiful little girls, 10 and 5, and her little girls are super crafty too. I guess apparently they love being in the craft room with mom, and she is imparting all of her crafty knowledge to her little people. So of course in my many questions I did ask her if they had any pets, and she said no, but I beg to differ because clearly that's a giraffe. Anyways, apparently perler beads are quite popular in her household. So now one of the other subjects that we did get on to is I had noticed on Natasha's webpage that she had said that she wholeheartedly believes in crafting as a therapy, and I believe in the same thing. I know that some of you that have been with me for some time, and of course everybody who's my friend, knows that I've suffered with chronic back pain from a serious spinal condition from a car accident, and it's part of my crafting regime. I craft because it makes me feel so much better, and I also watch the videos because that too helps me take my mind off of what I might be going through at the time. And after talking to Tasha, she said very similarly the same thing, and she really thinks that, you know, when she's dealing with her health situation, and I'll encourage you to go over to her site and check it out because she's very forthright and honest about her condition, and I won't even pronounce it, but part of the components of it, even though it has many components, is that chronic pain is one of the most debilitating effects that she suffers. And I don't know what it is about crafting and creating something beautiful, putting your energy and your thoughts into something positive and heartwarming really can help you get through some of the toughest situations. And I know there's a lot of us on here that are in that particular circumstance. And if it's not us specifically, I know that there's people on here that have friends, family, people close to them that deal with chronic health or chronic pain issues. And I'm gonna say this: if that's you and you leave a comment here, put a big red heart on it. There's always a sense of comfort in numbers, and us having this craft therapy community is a fabulous thing. So I just think it would be beautiful to let each other know that we're not alone, that we understand, and that we have been there too or have experience with it. So I'm just gonna stick this little hummingbird here on to, this was my Xyron sticker runner. Of course, you know I rip that thing apart, the refill, and use it this way because I find that I use only a little tiny piece and it works just as good. So I stuck that on. I did add an extra piece of vellum behind it just to thicken it up a bit. I've got my happy birthday sentiment here that I punched out and stamped with some silver embossing powder, and I made a big oopsie here. So I'm peeling this apart, and I actually separated the layers of the foil paper from the foil paper. And once I realized it, I had all these layers. It was just a big mess. The other thing I did is I decided to do some sneaky little corners to tack this down, just using some of this super duper tape that Renee introduced me to. She's over at Delaney Jane Cards. I love this tape, and I really didn't give it much attention until she started using it, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I did love it before, now I super love it. So I'm going to pop this little puppy up here. And the other thing too, I'm going to remind you today, this is a hashtag hop. So don't forget to click the hashtag in my title. Hop along to my fabulous friends here and give them some love, support. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to them already. And okay, here's one more mistake. Do not use wet glue on a vellum sheet. I've got some great wrinkles going around this happy birthday sentiment, and that was a big wah wah. So next time I will use my glue runner to tack this puppy down. So that's my card for today. That is Tasha. Of course, I keep pronouncing her name wrong because I have a friend named Tasha whom I love very much, and it is Tasha. So if she's crafting, she's probably singing along in her craft room and singing some Taylor Swift songs, and this is a big kudos to you. Don't forget to go check out her sites and that video that she's got. If you haven't subscribed already, I sure would love it if you would. Comment, like, the whole deal. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.